Welcome back to Birch's Blessed Barbecue. My name is Micah Birch, and I'm going to show you how to get this beautiful rack of St. Louis style ribs out of a rack of spare ribs. We picked these spare ribs up from our local Sam's. They come in a 2-pack. We're going to be turning these spare ribs into St. Louis style ribs. Look at that. Janky, messed up, beat up, uneven. So we need to trim them up. We're going to be trimming them up St. Louis style. While I take a look at it, I can explain what St. Louis style is. It's just us making it more even, to keep it simple, even thickness across, so that when we cook it, it cooks evenly and our bones are nice and straight. Commonly seen in competition cooks or restaurants, just so everything cooks evenly. And this right here, these bits right here, real thin, will dry out in the cook. So when it comes to trimming some St. Louis style ribs, we really want to inspect our meat. See, we have some extra stuff here, fat we don't really need. We have the skirt right here that we'll trim off just so it's nice and flat down here. This will overcook. It seems like there's a lot of fat right there as well. This end down here is thin. It's all over the place. Look at that. The bottom part right here is all over the place. So we want to even this out. A lot of edges that need to be cleaned up. This last few bones over here are pretty thin, no meat on it. So we're going to take this rib meat off right here. There's a little bit, the breastbone's already gone, that would be right here. But the rib meat's there. You can cook that up for rib tips, which you see a lot of the times. We don't need that. You can keep all the scraps and use them in different dishes. But I think we're ready to trim and turn this spare rib into a rack of St. Louis style ribs. The first thing I'm gonna start with is cleaning up this underside, taking off this skirt, this extra fat, and then we'll bring it around and square it off, taking off this rib meat. Because we really want an even rack of ribs. Even at home cooked backyard, I'm doing this in the backyard, we want it to cook nice and even. And as you can see here, with these pieces spread out, cut up real thin, it's not going to give us the cook that we're looking for. Take off this extra fat right here at the front. A little skirt right here, if you can see, it's right here sticking up. There is a little bit of the membrane still left on here, which we'll take off last after we get it squared up how we like it. Take a little bit of this extra fat off. We'll start right here. We're going to come in 3 bones. Keep it nice and uniform. Keep this cut straight. And cut right through it. You can save this meat. You could throw it on the smoker, keep it as a pit snack, or you can use it in other recipes as well. As we can see here, when it comes to this rib meat up top, you can see how uneven that is, and we want to keep it square. You can see this fat line running through at the top. A little bit of cartilage up here on the bone, and I'm just going to cut through that. Make a guideline. We're going to come through here, cut right through that cartilage. Keep it nice, square, and uniform, so our final product is even, well cooked. And now we have our rib tips off. These are our rib tips. You can throw those on the pit, cut them in squares when you're done, and use that as a pit snack as well. These ribs are common in competition style barbecue for how even they are. So when they're cooked, you know every slice and every bite is the best. Let's take this fat off up top. It's just real thin. There's no meat right here. It's not going to do us any good for the even cook that we're going for. We want these nice and even as we put them on the smoker. A little bit of that off. Round off this corner right here. Bring these 2 in right here. Cut straight down right there. You can see right there, there's not much meat on this. So we're just gonna set that to the side. A little bit of cartilage up here, loose meat. Zip that off. We still have a little bit of the skirt left down here. We are going to take that off as well. It's just gonna overcook. No need to have a dry piece on our ribs, and we don't have to. These are looking pretty perfect to me. And the last thing that we need to do is take off this membrane right here. When it comes to the membrane, you don't have to take it off. I like to take it off so we have a nice bite through. I'm just gonna grab a butter knife here, a paper towel. There's other ways you can do this, but I like to come in a couple bones right underneath this membrane, lift up, to pull it up a little bit. I'll grab my paper towel, get right underneath the membrane part we lifted up. Now I'm just gonna pull it right off. If you've seen what we had before sitting here, and you see now, this is our St. Louis style rib. Here's the back. You can see that's nice and cleaned up. Our rib is nice and even, and it is ready for the smoker. Watch our next video. You'll see these get seasoned up nice and pretty with some garlic jalapeno rub that we're making here in that video. So if you want to see these get cooked up, throw it on the smoker. There we go. Let me go ahead and grab the other rack of ribs just to show you what I'm talking about. Here's our second rack of spare ribs that we'll be trimming up in the next video. As you see, this one's not as beat up. You can see spare rib, the St. Louis style cut spare rib. More clean. And if you want to see this one get trimmed, like I said, go ahead and head to the next video. We have our St. Louis style cut rib on the top, and then we have our spare rib on the bottom. Same piece of meat, just cut differently. You let me know down below, what's your favorite? Do you tend to get the spare rib, clean it up a little bit, throw it on the pit? Or do you take it all the way down to St. Louis style? If you get St. Louis style from the store, it tends to be a little bit cheaper if you buy the spare rib, if you have the time, and then trim it up to this cut right here. Well, that is it for our St. Louis style rib video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some tips and tricks on how you can turn this spare rib into the St. Louis style rib. I like how this looks. I like how it serves. So at the end of the next video, if you go watch it, you'll see this get sliced up looking nice and pretty. That one's going to be a dry rub versus a sauced rib. So I hope you tune into that one. Now that's how you turn some spare ribs into some St. Louis style ribs. If you enjoyed today's video, remember, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you choose to turn some spare ribs into St. Louis style yourself, remember, tag me at Birch's Blessed BBQ, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. That's it for today's video, but that's not it for you. It's a new year. You have new goals. You have new desires. And I want you to not just say that. There's a lot of people that just talk. It's a new year. It's a new me. I have these goals. I have these things I want to change. I have these things I want to adjust. This person I want to be. And 2-3 months go by and it dies off. Our old habits take over the new habits that we're trying to create. So our new habits need to be a conscious decision daily. Right? 21 days to form a habit. 60 days to solidify it. 90 days, now it's you. Those old habits they're in autopilot right now. So our conscious decision to become who we're meant to be needs to become an autopilot now. There was a point in time where I lost 131 pounds. And what I learned through that journey is we can't just talk. We can't just say we want to change. There's some actions, there's some habits that are tied to the reason we are who we are. So when we realize and understand what these habits are, and these habits and this system and ways of thinking are not us, we can leave that over here, and then we can move. And like, as I was a child, I think I spoke as a child. We can leave that over here. And as I became a man, I put away childish things. Right? They're still there. I still know they're over here. But I became a man, so we have new habits, new ways of thinking, new ways of speaking, new ways of operating that we're building over here. This is still here. You can always revert back to who you used to be. I don't think that's what you want to do. You wouldn't be here watching a barbecue video, staying this long in the video once that part of the video is over, if all you wanted was to see how to trim some ribs. This is deeper than trimming ribs, right? You've seen the transformation from spare rib to St. Louis style. I had to cut off the parts that weren't necessary in order to get the beautiful shape and help the St. Louis come about. What does that mean? What does that have to do with changing our habits? Changing the way we speak, changing the way we think. We have to cut off these old habits. We have to trim off the breastbone. We have to create even shape. We got to get in a new environment. It's only a matter of time before your life's just a mess. But you know what you need to do. You know the decision you need to make. So stop being afraid to make that decision. God didn't give us that. God didn't tell us to be afraid. He said, matter of fact, he said, do not be afraid. Right? He said it multiple times. Do not be afraid. It's on your mind. It's a desire for a reason. Right? And it's your time to trim off the fluff, trim off the rib tips, even things out, put yourself in a position to win. Right? To come out beautifully. To be presented how you're supposed to be presented. You know this isn't all that you got. And that you can move over here and become all that you can be. With that being said, I just want to say, in this new year, in this new season, cut off what's not needed. You know that habit's not serving you no more. Cut it off. You know he's not serving you no more. Cut him off. You know she's not serving you no more. Cut her off. Cut that job off. Right? It's not helping you become who you need to be. And when that habit's not serving you no more, you got to cut it off and create a new one. Right? I love you. I don't know what time of day you're watching this. Have a great afternoon, a great morning, a great night. Right? And I'll see you in the next one. That being said, I'll see you in the next one.